Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and I want to show you something kind of curious. There's not just one or two, but three areas of focus that one can surmise that there is a global team focusing on locking up the SME channels globally in remittances and also with a suite of services that are sticky. And who would that team be? Ripple and SBI. Let me show you. I have made some observations. We've got three areas that seem to be in lockstep. The stars have aligned for Brazil, the SME focus for the financial services, and also the SME focused remittances that are low value, high frequency. So on May 29th, SBI took a majority share in the voting rights for a Brazilian bank called Daito in Japan. It was really curious because this doesn't have anything similar to the capital investments that he's made into other regional banks in trying to create this fourth mega bank vision and making that a reality. This is something that really stood out as being a little bit different, but okay, I get it because there are 300,000 Brazilians that live in Japan, and also there are 1.4 million Japanese of descent living in Brazil. They have the largest population outside of Japan because it was in the 20s and the 30s when there was a labor shortage in the coffee plantations in Brazil. A lot of Japanese went to Brazil to go work, and then many of them just didn't come home. So you've now got the third, fourth, and fifth generation families that are living there. But since the 80s, some of those Brazilians have returned back to Japan. But point being, there's a very deep tie between Brazil and Japan. All right, so I might go a little fast, but hang in there with me because I really want to show you how this is just so interesting. I'm on now the Banco Central do Brasil. This is the Central Bank of Brazil's website, and this is the president's calendar, Roberto Campos Neto, and you can see that this from May 30th, 2020, he had a video conference with the big guns at Ripple. Some people are saying that Brad Garlinghouse flew to Brazil. He didn't. That is a country right now, if you take a look at the numbers, that are going severely in the wrong direction for our global challenge right now. That is the last place you want to visit for business. So they did, you can see here, a video conference, and along with Mr. Garlinghouse was Ben Lowski. He is he's a director. Then there was Eric Van Miltenberg. He's the senior vice president of global ops. And then in Brazil, there's Ripple's vice president, Luis Antonio Sacco. So this particular meeting got a lot of media coverage around the world because I think it caught everybody by surprise. But then when we take a look at what occurred on Friday, June 5th, at a very strange time, 5:05 p.m. in the afternoon, SBI announced that they were going to take some additional shares with, I think, ensuring that they locked up the voting rights for that bank. So they increased their ownership from 17% to 18.33%, and they are now officially the largest shareholder in that Brazilian bank located here in Japan. So it seems like Brazil, in terms of banking, there is a lot of crossover. On June 10th, Leonidas from his XRP Arcade's website, he let the world know that the Banco Rendimento became the first bank to join Ripple's cloud service. Where are they? They are in Brazil. And I'm going to take you to a quote from the vice president of Ripple, who's working in Brazil, Mr. Antonio Sacco. He said that our vision is to use digital currencies as a means of exchange, not as a speculative investment. So this is obviously XRP for a bridge currency in remittances. And then that same media outlet in Brazil interviewed Mr. Eric van Miltenburg just a couple of months before that, and he was asked, how do cryptocurrencies increase the efficiency of transfers? And he used the example of a company in Brazil doing business in Japan. And I thought, well, that's really odd that he chose those two countries for that corridor to give his answer. So let me take you to a book that Mr. Kitao wrote 2 years ago. It's Learning Practical FinTech from Successful Companies. And in that inside flap, it talks about how high-level insights into blockchain is explained in practical terms, and it's including why low-value, high-frequency payments can be settled at a fraction of traditional cost. That low-value, high-frequency payment is really in the buzz right now. January 2020, there were some predictions given by SVP Marcus Treacher. The one prediction was that a shift from traditional large value batch flows to low value, high volume payments will help SMEs break into new markets much faster. And Ripple, everybody is talking about this, June 8th, announced that they are going to reduce their emphasis on large treasury payments, and they're going to focus more on the low value, high frequency payments with ODL, on-demand liquidity, which uses the digital asset XRP. Now I'm going to take you to an article in Japan from June 10th. And this is talking about those high frequency, they call small lot payments, but that's the small value, the low value, but high frequency payments that are being processed by the mobile apps here in Japan. The government is a little concerned that of all the choices out there, there wasn't enough competition because the transparency of fees wasn't being highlighted. So what they did is they gave everybody who is in Japan a chance to reevaluate their fees, because they are promoting this cashless payment with the QR codes in the mobile apps. You can see MoneyTap is one of them. It uses the Ripple technology, so it runs on Ripple. And Japan has a lot of choices, right? Alipay, WeChat, and then all these others. So they wanted to make the fees well known so that it could possibly encourage these providers to be more competitive with each other. Well, MoneyTap is one of those apps that is going to expand into cross-border. It's domestic right now, and you can see that the fees were made public, and the fee structure is looking really good for MoneyTap. MoneyTap, OkiPay, and MeruPay have the lowest fees of all, 1.5%. This was made available for everyone to see on June 8th. And on the MoneyTap website, well, they're going to go even further. They are focusing on the small and medium-sized businesses. They will be able to receive another additional 1/3 off that settlement fee if they sign up. And this will bring MoneyTap into a position where they will have the lowest fees of all the QR code providers. And Japan is doing something amazing. They're making a unified QR code that was going to roll out nationwide this year. So it'll be so easy, not only for the consumer, but for those small businesses who accept the mobile payments. They don't have to have all these different QR codes. They can have just one. I'm just so amazed that the embracing of this cashless method of payment is come to this level in this country. They're really striving to get to that 40% cashless society here within the next couple of years. So for the merchants and chains that are in just Tokyo alone, there's more than 150,000 of them. So I think you're going to see that the focus on making sure that the SMEs are all treated in a fair manner is going to be taking precedent in Japan. Now, my last observation is about services. It was in the article that Yogita broke. She actually broke this. This is on May 14th. Ripple is working on a loan offering that will work in connection with its XRP payment solution. This is going to provide working capital loans to the RippleNet customers. So this is a way, according to a spokesperson from Ripple told the block, the loan product will be in connection with the on-demand liquidity payment solution, which uses XRP, and it's going to drive that sticky connection and service to make their clients successful. Now, watch this little bit of information here. This is Mr. Kitao, the CEO of SBI. He was giving a press conference on Monday, and he announced that he is taking 500 million yen to create a new company that will give the small regional FIs in Japan that he's gathered through these capital investments that he's made. He's going to provide a suite of services that will be available to the SMEs. So he's driving that same sticky business down from the financial companies down to the SMEs, which then create that deep, deep connection with those customers so that they are creating a business that is very sticky. They're going to do it with loans, of course. They're going to do it with all different types of services, including the RippleNet technology with the payments app MoneyTap. So neobanks, financial institutions, money payment service companies, they are all going to make their SMEs successful to make that business stick. So, so interesting. I think that you can really see that they are in lockstep with Brazil, those SME payments and the SME suite of services. All right, everybody, let's jump to some fluff. Who you see here is Tama-chan. Tama is a station master at one of the stations, train stations in Tokyo. Actually, Tama-chan passed away recently, but she was a station master for many, many years. And of course, in the rural part of Japan, these stations often create a mascot or character to invite and hope people will come to their station to have a picture taken, of course, with that mascot or station master. This is Shokora. Shokora is in Yamagata, I think. Yeah, Shokora is a boy, and he's fairly new. I think he's been in his position just since fall 2019. And this is Momo-chan. Momo has been in Ashinomaki Station, which is an onsen station, for just about a year now. She's an American, what do they call? Not a Scottish fold, but she's an American fold. What do they call it? You know, where the ear kind of curls inward, not down this way, but I can't really remember of this breed's name. It's curl, something curl. Anyway, that's Momo-chan. And if you go to Miyagi, their station master is a fox. Now, don't feel bad, because nearby that particular train station, there is a fox sanctuary, and all those fox run free, and they have a very good life. They made it to that sanctuary for one reason or another, but they have a very good space to live out the rest of their life. And they are quite used to people. They've been raised with human contact, so they are really friendly. If you want to just take a look again. Yeah, so that's Goro-kun. It's a little boy. All right, so the reason why I wanted to introduce you to all of these different four-legged furry station masters is because we just lost one this weekend. And this is one that was up in the Aomori area, which is way north, and it is a long-haired Akita, and this is Wasao. And Wasao was known as kind of ugly cute because he had that lovable face, but when he was found, he was homeless, and he actually lived without a home for a very long time. And I think when he was first discovered by the person who took him in and became his forever home, he gave Wasao this kind of nickname because he looked pretty scraggly. But he cleaned up pretty well, and he became the master of that station. And he lived to be 13, which for those big breed dogs, that's fairly common, and they don't quite live as long as the smaller breeds do. But he did a good job while he was there. He had a great life after he found his forever home. He lived with a really caring woman who also had some other dogs, and he would not live at the station, but occasionally visit the station, and then people could take a picture with him. And there he is there, which I think is his best shot ever. And I just thought it would be a good sending off photograph to say goodbye and thanks for all your hard work, Wasao. And if you do come to Japan, there is a dog that was once a station mascot. It is a station called Shibuya, and this is Hachiko. Hachiko was born an Akita dog breed also. He was born in 1923. Yeah, and he had an owner who was a professor, Professor Ueno, and unfortunately, the professor had a brain hemorrhage. And so when Hachiko was there, as he would always do, wait every evening for his professor to come home, he'd be waiting at the station. The house he lived at was nearby the station, but very smart breed, and he would go to the station in the early evening and just wait for the professor to return. But of course, one day the professor didn't return. And so for the next 9 years, 9 months, and 15 days, Hachiko would return to the station and wait and wait and wait. And he was taken care of by all the people at the station. And it's kind of a sad story, but it does have a happy ending. He did also find a forever home and lived the rest of his life out in his older age with a family. But the station now has dedicated a big statue to him. It's in this area of the west exit of Shibuya. So this is where Hachiko used to wait, and this is what it looks like today. And the statue is here, and it's quite popular to visit. It's one of those meeting spots. If you say, I'm going to meet you in Shibuya, this is the spot everybody waits to meet up at. And there is a kitty who has been frequenting this area for the last couple of years. I have seen it one time on occasion in the evening, and I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but this cat loves to hang out underfoot of the statue, and so it makes for a really fun photograph. Nobody gives it any bad time, and so it looks healthy and it looks happy. I'm not really sure the story on the kitty, but I think it too is a street kitty, and it's kind of adopted the station as its home, and everybody looks out after it. So I hope if you do go to the Shibuya station and you visit the west exit, take a look and see if the kitty is there. All right, everybody. Yes, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.